They're trying to steal inheritance so that they can, like I said, so that they can confuse, in a sense. They think that they're confusing the spiritual realm. They're doing everything that they can so that they can have a claim onto this earth, and they don't get karma for the things that they have done and their forefathers have done. Interdimensional beings inhabit their white skin. Interdimensional beings can inhabit Native Indigenous too, but through trauma. Demons can now be passed bloodlines now because of the commingling of Caucasians with Native Indigenous. So now demons can be born. It wasn't like that for thousands of years ago. The thing that you can do in terms of the astral state, when you see an interdimensional being and it's going to look like a Caucasian and they're going to do something to you that is foul. They're going to try to steal from you. They're going to try to get you to sign something or molest you in the dream state. It's always the same. What you do is you snap their neck. You pull their necks off. You can do it with your bare hands in the astral. It is my hypothesis that this stops the interdimensional beings that come from other domiciles. Because the demons here, they look like shadows, or they look like trolls. They look like Neanderthalic trolls. Those are the demons that are here from this dimensional plane. And then, of course, you have your entities. But I digress. The Central Intelligence Agencies use any tool that they can to steal your inheritance, or try to, because it keeps going back. They're so debaucherous that your inheritance keeps going back to you. It keeps coming back to you. They have to use, and they do, use black magic. They experiment with that to no avail, especially if you're an integritous Native Indigenous person. That's not going to work. I think they're figuring that out. That doesn't really work. And what they try to do, like I said, they'll use black magic to flip or switch your inheritance with theirs. And they've been doing that for centuries. These debaucherous principalities, they've been doing that for centuries. And targeting specifically Native Indigenous black folk. The CIA has learned and teaches their Reich, which is basically Caucasians teaching other Caucasians through nepotism and passing down their ranks within all bureaucracies to each other. You know, you think that, just because the president switches out every 4 years for his term, that some of these bureaucratic agencies do the same thing. They don't. Some of them have been there for 60 years, 80 years old in that same institution. And what was the mentality of Caucasians 80 years ago? Exactly. They do things like remote viewing your house, where you are, astral projectors who try to bring you into their fold so that they can siphon off of you or do a transfer or whatever they're trying to do. And they teach their people this so that they can keep doing this. Obviously, this is a subversive underground that this is happening. And it sucks as Native Indigenous, and you know that it does, because your story is always being co-opted. Your story is always never told. Your story is always being snuffed out. Your experiences are always being invalidated. And that is not by accident. That is by their design. This is not to discourage anyone. There is options. You can fight. Because all they have is the astral. These debaucherous ones, not to say, this is not about Caucasians right now. But if you're a Caucasian and you're watching this, there's a chance that you can still ascend. Absolutely. This is not like, just because you're a Caucasian and that means you can't ascend. No, the God Spark, and I've made a video about this. It's coming soon. The God Spark has gone into a lot of different people now. But these specific homunculi, these specific Caucasians who dedicated themselves to that homunculus principality that upholds their fake flesh, they can't ascend. So they're doing everything that they can to destabilize, especially Native Indigenous folk, but anyone who is a contestant to their principality in their future and their vision that they have for the future.